We're back, good-looking people. So we took like an hour break there. This week, Tokyo Godfathers. We're jumping back into animation for a little bit. And I've been consistently inconsistent with doing a recipe. So usually I leave this till the end of the podcast, but I feel like a jerk for having not done it in so long. So I'm going to give this one to you up front. It sounds unusual, but I'm telling you, the photo I found on Instagram looks delectable. These are blueberry brie jalapeno poppers. This is brought to you, as it is every week, by Hey Honey at heyhoney.biz for all of your unusual honey needs, both Michigan local, specialty, and Turkish and Hawaiian single pollens. So check it out. Ingredients first: 10 to 12 jalapenos, halved lengthwise as needed, and then I can never tell when they do these, if that's in Europe or over here, but it's 170 to 225 grams of brie, cut into small cubes, third cup blueberry preserve or fresh blueberries, 1 tablespoon of honey, preferably mine as always, but I would say for this, from what I'm reading, either hot pepper honey or the lemon and ginger would probably work with this. Lemon and ginger. A tablespoon of finely chopped walnuts or pecans, not black walnuts. I made that mistake. Have you ever tasted the difference? Black walnuts are very acrid. They're almost metallic. And I put a whole bunch, you know that yogurt thing I make in the morning?
Yeah.
I put a whole bunch of them in there, and it tasted like a yogurt parfait made out of dirty nickels.
What do people use black walnuts for?
I don't know, but it's really acrid. So just regular walnuts.
Okay.
1 teaspoon lemon zest, optional, pinch of sea salt, and you can garnish with thyme or parsley. If you ask me, garnish is kind of a waste of time. It's to make it look pretty, and sorry, but if guys are making these, you're not going to want to bother. So, quick directions. Let me see here. So, preheat to 400. Line a baking sheet with parchment. Slice the jalapenos in half. Remove the seeds. Place the halves on a tray. Add a piece of brie into each one. Just kind of fill the half with the brie. Spoon in a small amount of blueberry preserve over the brie. Drizzle lightly with honey and sprinkle chopped nuts and lemon zest as desired. You're just going to jam it all in there. Bake for 10 to 12 minutes or until the jalapenos soften slightly and the brie is melted. Garnish with thyme, plenty of, again, forget the garnish. But yeah, bake for 10 to 12 minutes, and I got to tell you, I know that podcasting is purely a audio format, but these look divine. So if you fancy a holiday treat that's a little bit outside the norm, get some blueberry preserves. I'm telling you, the hot honey or the lemon ginger would work awesome with this. But lemon and blueberry pair super well, so consider that. And I'm sure you can probably find a pretty decent brie or a flavored brie out there, or an infused brie with lemon, or an infused brie with blueberry. Either of those would work. But today, so that's the recipe for the day. I would say Tokyo Godfathers is, I don't remember, I think we came across this on a Instagram feed a couple weeks ago. We were looking for unusual Christmas movies. You okay? You back? Yeah. You just left me here to fend for myself on the microphone. See, the audience can't tell how sorry you are if they don't hear you. Are you able to speak? You
Yeah,
lost
I
it?
can
Okay.
speak. I'm good. I'm fine.
No,
I just had to use the restroom.
Okay. In the middle of a recording. Can you believe, this is what I'm dealing with, ladies and gentlemen.
I didn't mean to leave you.
Yeah, but you did.
I didn't want
A
to.
professional would have taken the microphone in there. Just saying.
In the bathroom?
Hey, I'd have done it. If it means bringing the audience what they need with movie reviews and honey-based recipes, I'm all about it.
Uh-huh.
Can I get back to my synopsis here?
Please.
So, our drink that tea for God's sake. Drink it. Satoshi Kon is our director and is regarded as a master of Japanese animation, and in quotes on our jumble of sources regarding this movie in Notebook, he's regarded as a, quote, illusionist whose work frequently blurs the lines between dreams, reality, and identity. His filmography, again, this is coming from our Notebook LM write-up, represents a cohesive exploration of the human consciousness, progressing from early manga, and his early manga origins included titles like Opus and Kaikisen. Credited these projects with teaching him the critical lessons in storyline creation, character development, and background design. During this period, he was significantly influenced by Katsuhiro Otomo. You know what? We got to call you-know-who.
I know, I was thinking the exact same thing.
Our Japanese friends. I'll do most of the talking because you sound terrible.
I don't sound terrible.
When you drink more of that tea, you'll sound better. I'm going to be yapping a lot for this one because this was my pick.
Okay, well, good.
So drink up. While I'm talking, use the time to your advantage, to your throat's advantage. Where was I? Katsuro Otomo. So, have you seen any of Satoshi Kon's movies before this?
I don't think so.
Because I had not, but I got to tell you.
I didn't recognize any of the titles.
Well, you listened to the podcast Notebook worked up, right?
Yep.
So this is a lot of the themes. I gotta say, not that I missed them, but I really was wrapped into the story.
Yeah.
And I saw there was little components of this, and that I guess that there was components of. I want to say this properly. What I like about Japanese animation and manga is just the attention to detail. The manga that I've seen and the Japanese animation I've seen has been very advanced not just in terms of technical set design and illustrations, especially this one. You saw the entire city of Tokyo has the slums that it spends a lot of time in. They spent a lot of time with the details just of the alleys and how the buildings are put together and the placement of air conditioning units and where dumpsters are positioned and windowsills and how they house different little trinkets in which kind of create a personality for whoever lives there, even if you don't see the contents of a particular house or apartment building. And I think that's part of his thumbprint on animation is he spends just as much time developing the atmosphere as he does the characters. So to give everybody just a quick overview of what this is about, there's 3. You're going to have to help me out with all the
people.
The people. So there's 3 principal homeless people in Japan, and they form this makeshift family.
Mm-hmm.
But they're just, they're homeless and they're dysfunctional. One of them is kind of the heart of their crew. It is a transvestite.
Transgender woman. And drag queen.
And previous professional
yes.
drag queen that you find out about later. Her name is
Hana.
Then there's a guy who's missing a couple teeth, and his name Jin. And I think at the onset you find out that he had a problem gambling. Is that right?
Yep.
And he initially tells the story that his family left him. You find out that it was...
Yeah, I think that his family left him, or his family is no more.
Yeah, like he paints them as having died or something.
Yeah.
And you find out later that's not the case at all.
No, and he lied about his past, and he was, he felt shame for, I don't know, bringing his wife and daughter into his gambling addiction.
Right.
And so, to cover it up, and I think almost to make himself feel better, he said that they had died or they had moved on or gone away or something. And then
it's his version.
We find out that they're not. That's not true. Sorry.
Yeah, no, that he was just so embarrassed by his own behavior that he left. He just kind of abandoned them. Like he abandoned them, but he abandoned them in shame from his own actions and behavior.
And I feel like he feels even more shame in that he did that.
Which compounded the problem onto himself. And then our third and final is
Miyuki.
And Miyuki is a runaway and she's fairly young. She's a teenager, early 20s, and you find out that she ran away because she had a contentious relationship with her dad. They had an argument, and she ended up stabbing him and was he did not die, but she was. It's one of these things where like you do an action and you immediately feel horrible about it, and you have to excise yourself from the situation, and she runs away. And these 3 people have found some kind of camaraderie, and I think they know that they can tolerate each other enough, and they utilize each other as pillars to keep themselves alive.
I think they're really all each other has.
Yeah.
And they all had, people and family before, and because of all their different circumstances, they are where they are now. And so they, like you said, lean on each other for support and help to get through everyday life.
During one of they're just rummaging for food in the trash. They have an argument, and while Jin is fighting with Miyuki, or I think Jin was fighting with Miyuki.
Yeah, I think they were.
They hear a baby crying, and they found a baby in the garbage.
An abandoned baby in the garbage.
And what's funny about this is anyone who does not like my friend Rich, what is an illustrator, and he's a good illustrator, but he has like this vehement dislike for manga and for Japanese animation. He's like repulsed by it. And I'm like, this movie, like, I wouldn't say I necessarily seek out these movies, but like if the ones that we've seen, you remember that rock climbing one or that mountain climbing one from way back?
Yeah.
Like the stories are so well told, they pull you right in. And this one was no exception.
And I think, sort of to piggyback on what you're saying, I feel a similar way. I mean, I'm not like totally against it or anything, but it's just not my genre.
Yeah.
But what I have seen, I've really enjoyed. And like what we have found in our movie title research and what we have watched. Like, I'd almost forgotten about that rock climbing one, but I thought that was, like, I don't want to use too strong of a word, but, like, kind of spectacular is not the word I'm looking for, but I really liked that one. Like, I don't know, and then this one I really liked too, for different reasons, but it's not I guess what I'm trying to say is that for me, it's not the typical, like, Japanese anime that people think of or, like, popularize. That doesn't really, like, pull me in.
Yeah, this was built, we turned into this because it's Christmas time right now, and this is a Christmas story, even though it takes place in Japan. I just made it sound like, well, they don't have Christmas in Japan. Yeah, they do. But all of the characteristics of what Christmas is supposed to represent, low key, as in, like, over in America, like, whenever you see a Christmas movie, they hit Christmas they hit you over the head with Christmas stuff.
It's like being in a store.
Kind of, yeah. And this was more like, you see these people, Hana especially, she had desires to have been a mother, and now she has been cosmically charged with keeping this baby alive. And if you take like a 300-foot view of what these people are doing, they're trying to keep this baby alive and find the mother throughout this film. That's in essence what the movie is.
Yeah.
And if you just take a look at the actions that they're putting themselves through to get this kid back to their mom, its mother, these are all the things that Christmas is supposed to be about. I mean, like, you have to, I don't want to say you have to look deep to understand that and see and appreciate how it's a Christmas movie, but in all honesty, that's what I liked about it the most, is that it was Christmas without seeing, like, Santa every 15th frame.
And there was no black and white. Goodness gracious, there was no red and white. There were no Christmas trees. There was nothing. At least from what I remember, there was nothing to say that it was Christmas.
Really?
And it was. Yeah, I mean, other than the fact that it said it was Christmas Eve, like, in reading or something, and we knew that, but
the other component with all the detail and the storytelling is you find out there's real character development with these three. Like, you find out through, like, the parties kind of get separated at certain parts.
And, like, two characters, sorry.
No, I was just going to say that's what's sometimes tough about doing a movie podcast is I want to talk about the movie, but I don't want to give a ton of it away.
Right.
Like, it would behoove us not to do this, like, right after we watch the movie, because I'm remembering pieces of it. They save a mob boss from a hit accidentally?
Yeah.
And they're invited to...
That's right. Yeah.
They're invited...
To a big party. Huge party.
Yeah.
Big and fancy.
Big and fancy. And, there are these homeless people. And it's funny because the mob doesn't take notice of the fact that they're homeless. But
they don't even blink an eye.
They don't blink an eye. But when there's a scene when they're on the train... And everybody on the train, like, starts wincing from the smell. I didn't even realize this until I listened to the Notebook podcast. I was like, I don't know what that is. Did they go buy something? And this was in the cartoon that, like, you don't think about this, but, like, if it was live action, it would make more, like, at least to me, I'd be like, oh, that's because
I saw it right away.
And they smell.
Saw it right away.
I was like, is that or is it the baby? And I'm like, oh, they're three homeless people. Of course they stink.
Yeah, they're not, yeah.
But when they're in the mob party, there's an assassination attempt, and Miyuki gets kind of kidnapped, and then there is there's a portion of the story where Hana's trying to find her, and they find her being cared for by the assassin's wife,
Mm-hmm.
and it becomes a calm environment where Jin, he's separated from the two, and he encounters a dying. I didn't realize this again until after I watched or listened to the Notebook LM, but he helps another homeless man who is dying.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And he has a winning lottery ticket. And the old man gives him this ticket.
Mm-hmm.
I couldn't pick up on that until I did the recap with Notebook, but as this guy is passing, he gets mugged. Jin gets mugged.
Yes.
Which, like, this even happens over here. Like, younger people come across. I've seen a couple of things in the news in the past 20 years about kids who pick fights with homeless people.
Mm-hmm.
Just to, like at least in the movie, they take it upon themselves to keep their neighborhood clean, and they do this by, like, assaulting a homeless guy and beating him up. I know there was one 20 years ago where they set some homeless guy on fire. I hear about this stuff in the news, and I'm sure it hasn't just been one, but these are the kind of perils that homeless people face.
Mm-hmm.
Luckily, he's beaten up a bit, but Jin ends up in the hospital, and Hana and Miyuki go to Hana's an old club, and she recalls an incident where she assaulted a heckler, and you see all these elements of, like, Japanese pride and honor, like, she assaulted this customer and then was so horrified by her action that she just left. Was that her mother who ran the club? Or she called her mom?
No, I think she was,
like the madam or the
yeah,
woman who
thank
ran
you.
it?
She was, like, the lady of the house, like, the business, or whatever.
Yes, they were very close.
Not blood by family.
Yeah, but she called her mom.
You know what I meant.
Called her mom.
Not blood. Not family by blood.
Yeah. And Hana tells the quote-unquote mother that, like, this is why I left. And mom was like, oh, that's not a big deal.
Yeah.
Like, that guy had it coming. I don't know why you left. You were, like, star attraction. You can come back whenever you want.
Mm-hmm.
And during this separation of all these characters, you learn about, outside of the baby that they're trying to bring back to wherever mom is, you learn about the backstory of all these three homeless people and why they ended up in this situation. And on some levels, they're lucky to have found one another, but on another level, they're lucky because they're all in situations that are to some degree largely correctable.
Mm-hmm.
Like Jin encounters his daughter.
Yeah.
And finds out what happened to his daughter, and he confesses to her, like, this is what happened to me, this is why I did it, and it's horrible, and I feel terrible, I'm tortured by it all the time, and I live on the streets now. And you can see that they start to form this relationship. And Miyuki has this, she's having nightmares about, she tries to call her father and then breaks down. And you can just tell that on the other line, Dad was like, "Oh my God, I don't give a shit about this thing that happened between us. I just want to please come home."
Yeah.
It's hard to even talk about this, like, because it's such a human story. You almost kind of forget that it's a cartoon.
Yeah.
And it brings it back to the after you're seeing how these people ended up here, they bring the action back by. I don't want to give away that what happened with Mom, because there is a interlude with what you think is the baby's mom, and that has its own sad story.
Yeah.
And I don't think it's out of line to say everything kind of gets buttoned up at the end, because it is a Christmas story.
Mm-hmm.
But there's a couple of things, like with Miyuki, what's her name? Miyuki. There's kind of a trigger ending with what happens with her and her dad.
Mm-hmm. Definitely.
We wrote down 10 movies each that we want to watch this year, or watch and do a show about, and a bunch of mine were animations,
Mm-hmm.
which, like, after I looked at the list, I'm like, I can't believe I wrote these down, because like these are so outside of my wheelhouse, but it's fun to talk about a movie that, like, if you have an interest in movies, I can understand why some people would know about these, but the more shows we do, the more you kind of realize not everybody watches the same things we do when we watch them.
Yeah. Well, I think... I don't know how to sum it up very well. Not my forte, but I think...
I'll help.
Thank you. I think that we've come across some really good movie titles in our days of doing our Critique-Opolis podcast. Like, when we started, our movie style, being the movies that we picked, was a little different. And then I feel like now, I mean, it's been quite a while. What, 2 years? Maybe?
3.
3? Oh my gosh.
I like finding ones that are a little obscure.
Yeah, so like, exactly. So in the beginning, we were, you know, choosing movies that you or I had seen that maybe the other one hadn't seen, that we, I would say, really liked for whatever reason. And, like, more or less, like, for me, I chose movies that are on, like, my favorite movies of all time kind of list. And again, it's just my personal list. It's not like everyone's, you know, movie list or the top 10 movies of my lifetime. But, and now I think we've been doing it for a while, and our genres, if you will, have sort of changed. Like, there's still movies I would say that I enjoy or that we enjoy, but they're not like, I don't know, I guess they're not like, they're not mainstream. Like, I think back to, like, I think our first episode, I chose Catch Me If You Can. Mm-hmm. That's like a super Hollywood blockbuster. I love that movie.
Yeah.
I will never not love that movie. But, like, if you compare that movie with what we're talking about right now, totally two different things.
I'll tell you, because I look back at our stats, and whenever I see that title, I'm like, I remember when we first recorded that, thinking, I didn't say it, but I was like, is she really gonna angle towards just big budget, like, well-known star stuff?
I love movies, so no.
But, like, for a half a second, I'm like, we're both gonna pick one to review. We're gonna go back and forth, but at one point I told you I'm gonna watch weird things. Something like, I want to get something out of it, but it's not. There's gonna be a lot of stuff you've never heard of, different languages. Because we always learn the best thing about, especially about seeing a foreign language film. I think at least for me, it does a couple things. One, it shows you, like, the obvious similarities between. Like, it doesn't matter if somebody lives 5,000 miles away from you, that, like, the human experience transcends location. And just to see, even in this animation, when she tries to call her dad, like, I've had this relationship where I've been furious at a parent and said something I shouldn't have said, and didn't talk for a while, and then tried to call, and then just couldn't get the word. Oh my God! It's just like just tears at you, and it doesn't matter that it's drawn. Like it makes perfect sense, and you get it. It makes you think about, I have been in that moment, and what I love about a movie like this is it's not an actual person that's representing this very familiar experience and feeling. Somebody did it with a pen. There's a couple of movies, and I'm telling you this right now, that I've showed you some of the clips on Instagram that I know they're going to make you uncomfortable. As we've said before, like, especially with, not even so much with animation, but you don't like, I'm going to see if I've said it before, like representations of things that are representations of other things, like puppets or sculptures that are animatized, or they're given anima, and they are in some way distorted.
That's correct.
Yeah, like whenever there's any kind of distortion, it really makes you uncomfortable. I've found a couple of movies, though, that utilize either puppets or just they have unusual or unsettling visuals. And I kind of insist that we watch them because I know there's something to get out of it. Like I would, I've told you about some of those lists of the most unsettling movies. Like I'll read to you what they're about, but I don't even want to watch some of these things. But when you get referred to a movie, especially if the referral is put into a language that you can understand, one critique I have of especially any movie that is referred to me by a scholar, like when I was in college, and we are leaving out huge chunks of the technical aspects and components of Tokyo Godfathers. Like, there are many other reviews, critiques, and write-ups about this and every other movie we talk about that we're skipping over. With this movie in particular, I'm skipping over thematic elements, background of the director, and all the different works that he worked on previously and post. And maybe it's just because it's at Christmas that this particular review is a little bit more emotionally charged. It's great to find a movie that makes you feel something, and you can't reflect back to the character, because you can't reflect back to the actor, because these are, if you really think about it, they're just ideas and concepts that were materialized with a drawing, and they made the same impact as an actor. So if you fancy a Christmas story that's like a new Christmas story, if you really can get behind the sentiment of Christmas, but you're not looking for, it's funny to even say this, like this is something that somebody is looking for, but if like the description of how this moved us would move you, then by all means. Again, we don't typically talk about movies and say that was total shit, I couldn't stand it, this actor sucked, this guy, the director doesn't know anything about lighting, the set designs look like they were put together by kindergarten. I don't want to do that. I don't feel like that's it's just mean, because somebody worked on a movie, and I know how, especially with animation, it takes so much longer than a regular movie. They're usually, I've heard some people say they're inexpensive to produce based on what the returns can be, but I think that's mostly for Disney projects or Pixar stuff. Especially Japanese animation, it can take years to put a movie together. Because,
so worth it, though.
oh, yeah.
So worth it. I really, really like this movie. I just like I've been so quiet. I really, really
You know how I do it. I can yap. I'm good at it.
All right, well, I'm going to interrupt you
Go
so
ahead,
I can
do
talk
it.
for a minute.
Go ahead.
But I really, really liked this movie. And I think a little while ago you said that, like, you forgot... Help me out here. You forgot that you were watching an animated movie?
It's not that I forgot. It's like you just don't focus on it because, like, especially if you. I think this podcast is on this particular movie is for somebody who sees an ad for, or if they come across an animated movie and you're like, that's a cartoon, that's not for me, that's more for children. Absolutely not the case.
No, definitely not.
Because some of it, like some of the reactions on the characters, yes, you can tell it was a cartoon. You can tell it has a childlike element to it.
Mm-hmm.
But you still get, it conveys emotion.
I like this movie so much. I really liked all the many layers and details that were included in this story. Like, I felt like at like every turn there was something new that I wasn't expecting. It was like a lot of a lot of details put into this one story. And there were these three main characters who weren't really like your typical characters.
They weren't your typical heroes at all.
Not at all. But like I really learned to like them. I wasn't sure in the beginning if I would, but I think that's because there were these characters that like their families had given up on, they were homeless, like what kind of drive or like passion or like direction did they have in life? They didn't have anything really going for them, but the three of them came together, and not only for each other but also for this like baby that they found, which I'd almost forgotten about, but that was like the main, like that was like the umbrella, I guess, of like the movie. But then underneath that umbrella were all these other like, I don't know, just details about their lives. And we talked about earlier, like,
as they're going on their mission, it's almost like you have these little offshoots to bring you. It's weird. It's almost like an offshoot to tell you about Jin or an offshoot to tell you about Hana, but it brings you close. It separates you from their goal, but then it concentrates your understanding of the character, which makes you understand the goal better. And I heard I think this was on Notebook again, the baby, like, there are so many scenes where the baby kind of saved the day.
yeah.
Like, what's the word I want? Like, not auspicious, but like, there's so many write-ups about this. Like, it gave Hana, like, just as an example, it gave Hana this purpose. And Miyuki talks about her cat. She named the baby after her cat.
Oh yeah, we didn't talk about this at all.
Yeah. And the cat had angel wings on it. And when they go to Hana's club, there's angel wings on the it's on the top of a tower, and their logo has angel wings on it. And the baby kind of notices things that keep them from like something happens with the baby where it keeps Hana from getting hit by a car or something.
I don't remember.
There was something where there was a number of little instances where the baby's involvement saved or helped the homeless characters.
Yeah. There was something in there too about, and maybe you just touched on this and I just misunderstood. A lady with angel wings, from the club.
Right.
Whether
Right.
she was real or a figment of their imagination, I can't really remember. But she also like protected them in a time of
potential crisis.
Yeah, thank you. Exactly. Yeah. There were just a lot of. There were so many. Let me go back. Something that we hadn't mentioned was the name of the baby. So they gave this baby a name, a Japanese name that started with a letter K. I think it was like Kyuku or something.
Yeah.
And that name came up many times throughout the rest of the story in the movie. And I almost felt like I wanted to be sitting there with a pad of paper to like keep track of all the times that name came up, because like you just said, wasn't that the name of the cat?
Yeah.
And I don't want to like really give anything away, but like Jin connects with his family that we didn't know still existed.
Yeah.
And is his daughter's name or his wife's name is the same? I don't know. It just came up many times, and I just thought it was very kind of cliche to say, but like very cleverly done.
Well, this kind of calls back to what I was saying with like, it's not just detail in the illustrations of the film itself, or of the settings, or the universe that's created on cells and on in the drawn medium that animation is. But there's layers to these characters.
Yeah.
And that's great to see in a regular movie. And I think that's kind of the foundational building blocks of a movie that gets recommended. Like when you really see background and development and change and progress in a person's place in life, where they start out and where they end up in like a 2-hour stint. And this had lots of that, and not just personal development, but like individual story development within each person. So I mean, there's just, when I say like there's so much texture and depth to different components of this movie. It's rich is the best way to, and it's what's funny about it is to call it a like richly textualized. It's funny to say that on a Christmas movie, which in the States is typically, that's a lot of cliche movies. They're Hallmark has a whole station where they just turn out crap. And this it's about 3 homeless people.
In Japan.
Yeah. So this is going to come out, or our little show about this is going to come out after Christmas, but it doesn't matter. You can see this at any time.
Yeah.
Did I miss anything?
No, I don't think so, but I did want to comment on the style of the animation, because this is something that I noticed while we were watching it, and I wanted to say something, but then I was like, no. We always joke with ourselves about this. Save it for the podcast. I think I had it here, but I lost it. This style of animation, again, I was not familiar with this director, so I don't know any of his previous works or have experience with anything related. And I just immediately noticed the way that this movie was drawn with, you talked about it at the beginning of the podcast today, like the placement of like the buildings and the placements of, I think, like the
air conditioning,
trash and the air conditioning units and things like that. And I lost it, but
like just even in their little shelter, in the little shelter they had, it was almost like a little yurt, and they had his bed pad, and he had his own little nightstand that was kind of crafted from books and wood, and had a little timepiece in there, and that's the nice thing. That's what I think I like most about Japanese animation, is just the detail in the drawing. Like even, I think a lot, whenever Japanese animation is discussed, Akira always comes up. And while I don't know if you ever saw that, it's definitely not your kind of movie, but there's a movie that was years in the making. It was a very long movie, and it spends a lot of time with illustrations of what's called New Tokyo.
Okay.
And it's building upon building upon building, and they all, like, some of the lights are on and and it's all at night for the most part.
Okay.
You know, they have floors that have nothing going on and some that are partially lit. And details, there's people walking around inside, and some of these teeny tiny windows. I think what's astonishing to me is the anime's insistence on and not all anime is created equal, I know that, but their insistence to a large degree on depth and detail. It's not like you're in the real world. You know it's a facsimile, you know it's a cartoon, but you're just blown away by the depth of, like, just some of the, like, let's say, for example, someone were to draw this room where you have blankets and where you've put books and particular candles in certain shelves that you're not, like, the focus, if you were to come into this room, would be the two of us talking. But how you have a bottle of scented oil on top of your projector, like, for that to be drawn in a scene, you see that as like it wouldn't normally be there. It's there placed on that particular, that's not a table where you have that oil. But if you were to see that drawn when you're creating the story for a character, you're like, okay, this person's just a little quirky. They have stuff kind of everywhere. It's not messy, but they have stuff in odd places, and, like, they do a great job of drawing a setting, humanizing a setting through the pen. Like, I would always tell my father that he would ask why people didn't come over to our house, because we had a bigger home, but my dad was a neat freak, and the place was always clean, and my friends would be like, I'm not comfortable coming in your house. I'm like, why not? And they're like, it doesn't look lived in. And I would tell him that. He's like, what does that mean? It's like, our place was beautiful. I'm like, it was beautiful. It was like a museum.
Yeah.
It didn't look like a home.
Right.
And that's the difference. Like, when there's people's home. If you've gone to someone's house, you're like, this looks like it's a model house. Like like a realtor is showing it.
Yeah.
And then you go into somebody else's house who, you know, they don't have an agenda. This is just their space. Stuff is in different spots. Products they use are partially used or in unusual spots. And Japanese animation is great at capturing those unusual placements of things. They make it look real world, but they do it through that they have the thought and they put it on a cell or on paper, and it's like, yeah, I can see how that would be, what that would look like in real life. And, like, you don't get that kind of detail from Bugs Bunny.
No.
Yeah.
No.
Did that make sense, or did I?
No, that definitely made sense. I'm trying to think about what I wanted to say regarding the animation style fits into that. And I'm not really sure that it does. This is a common problem that I have when we do this podcast. But I really quickly... How are we on time?
Couple minutes.
Okay. I really quickly noticed in watching this movie the animation style of not only the placement of, like, the air conditioners and the houses and things like that and the alleyways and things like that, but he had hand-drawn elements with real life articles. I don't know if that makes sense, but like something for me, I've been to Japan several times in my life, and something that always sticks out to me is it's gonna sound so silly, but all the what are they called? Pop machines, what are those called?
Vending machines.
Thank you. Vending machines. And that's like very Japanese to me.
That's a big element of commerce that we don't have over here.
It's huge, and like
they have a vending machine for everything.
For everything, and they've come a long way since like the ones that I initially saw, and that's just from my limited experience. But like they're just such a big part of their culture. They're everywhere. It's not like, oh, if you have extra change, you go buy a pop at a vending machine. It's like when you get up in the morning and you get ready and you leave your house, you stop at the vending machine and you get for example, your hot tea. Like, it comes out of the vending machine. Anyway, the reason I'm saying all this is because I just love that aspect of Japanese culture. And I noticed in this movie that when there were vending machines present, which again, they're on like every street. They're everywhere. They're just there. They were real. They weren't drawn. Yeah. And there were other things in this movie that were like that too. So I know that there's like all these.
What do you mean they were real? They weren't drawn?
Like they were real. Like they weren't like a. It was like a photograph, or like you could reach into the. I'm just saying in quotes. You could like reach into the movie and pull out a can of pop.
Oh, I got
Or
you.
like, sometimes I felt like the it's trash or the litter was real. Like it wasn't.
Yeah.
Yeah. Go ahead. You know what I'm trying to say?
Almost like there are some elements to a scene that they had actual subject matter in front of them when they were drawing.
Yeah.
So they could bring out the detail of a trash bag.
Yeah.
Or they want to bring out the detail of like this person is going to reach in to get a croissant sandwich from this vending machine.
Yeah.
This is how it looks. We're going to accentuate it by pumping up the detail.
Yeah. And they just like it just looks real. And the other thing about this movie is the animation I thought was very dark. Yeah. And I thought for a while that,
a lot of it's
would
at
really
night. Most of it's at night.
That's true. That's a good point. It is at night. And I thought that would really bother me because I don't know, I just need like bright and cheery. But it didn't bother me. Like I'd be watching it and I'd be like, "Oh yeah, it's nighttime. It's dark." Like
it's not menacing.
It's not. That's exactly it. Yeah, you're right. That's like yeah. So, anyway, I really liked this movie.
I love the fact that I actually got a recipe in this time. Good job, Nate.
Yeah, good job. I can't believe you remembered that.
I think that's it for now. We got to find another movie.
Okay.
What else have I? I got nothing. This is going to come out after Christmas, so if you're listening, hope you had a Merry Christmas, Happy Kwanzaa, Hanukkah, whatever, all the stuff. You want to say anything?
Hanukkah. Did you say Hanukkah already?
Yeah, I already said that. Say happy
I don't know.
holidays.
It'll be happy holidays. It'll be the new year when you hear from us again.
Yeah.
I think so. I don't know. Be safe. Be good.
All right. That's
Enjoy
it.
things.
Happy 2025. We'll see you in 26.
Uh-huh.
See ya.
Bye.